Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the webinar. I am Ashley Faulkner. I'm going to go ahead and get this started so you all can get back to your day. But we do appreciate you tuning in. These webinars are designed to kind of help you guys. They're not always going to be centered around Journey and what we offer and what we can give our clients, but more so just good information for everybody to know. We are also doing some little mini webinars in between our monthly ones, and so if you ever feel like you want more dialed in information about certain things, be sure to attend those as well. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Today we're going to go over kind of work-life balance. This seems to be a big thing lately, trying to kind of keep that balance, and how does that look, and how do you do it, and what are some good tools? We by no means are pros at this. This is just something we have kind of really taken seriously here at Journey, and we like to be able to create that work-life balance, and we really preach that work-life balance. And so this is kind of more so just designed to help you guys, our clients, in finding that balance and keeping things together and going. So we will go ahead and get started here. Why is work-life balance so important? So burnout is probably one of the number one issues that you can see. Chronic stress is probably the very most common health issue that people can experience. So I think between burnout and chronic stress, it is massively important to remember how much work-life balance can be so important. So, burnout can cause things like mood swings, irritability, decreased productivity. Think about how those things then affect your clients. So as a company that is, focused on whether it's customer service or, whatever industry you're in, I don't think it really even truly matters. Mood swings, irritability, decreased productivity. Not only can that internally hurt things for you, but externally to your customers, to your client base, that can also really affect your company in a negative way, not to mention your employee in a negative way. If you've got a great employee, but they're experiencing some burnout, you could lose that employee. And how important is that going to be when, all of a sudden you're losing good employees because, they're burnt out. One of the other things we have always kind of tried to keep in mind and really helped to train our staff on is, when you end up being the go-to for things because somebody can count on you and they know you can do it and they know you can get them the information, unfortunately, they end up going then to you for everything. So then that does cause burnout. So while you as the employer, and this is what I strive on trying to really be mindful of with my staff, is if I know that somebody can do something for me because they're always really good and they're always really quick to do it, what I have to remember too on the back end though is that I might very well be burning them out. And because they're my go-to, I'm going to burn them out. And what is that going to do for my company if I burn somebody like that out? So it's just kind of a good thing to be aware of is that burnout. Chronic stress though, man, all the things that chronic stress can cause, hypertension, digestive issues, heart-related problems, depression, anxiety, insomnia. How many times have you heard your employees say things like, gosh, I'm losing sleep. I wake up in the middle of the night and all I can think about is what I need to do, tomorrow at work. Or even me, myself, how many times do I wake up sometimes thinking, oh my gosh, I need to do that, or I still have to get that figured out, or I've still got to, fix this problem at work. You have no idea that all of these little things could be leading to chronic stress. And if, people are stressed, we get it. Everybody gets stressed from time to time. But chronic stress and having a chronic stress issue like that take place, man, that can really burn an employee out, and that can really affect your workplace in a negative way as well. So think about how this all then relates. So not only is it affecting your employee, but think about how it relates to what's going on in your company. Burnout, that's not good for your company. Chronic stress, that's surely not good for your company. Not only is it bad for your employee, but it's terrible for your company as well. So these are just some things to kind of keep in mind. Again, we've kind of hit on some of these, like how is it good for your business? and we're not talking about the negatives there. We're talking about, the work-life balance. How is that good for your business? So I'm sure all of you could say you agree. An overall healthy work-life balance actually saves you money. It is crazy to think of, but go with me for a minute. Less stress-related illness means less sick or mental health days. So your employees, while they may be really stressed and that's causing other issues, it's causing them to get sick. Our bodies they're not structured to be in that fight or flight mode forever. And I'm going to channel my inner wonderful mental health resource we have internally here at Journey. But she always says, you can't live in fight or flight forever. If you're constantly living there, you're going to be sick. You're going to be susceptible to colds that are going around. You're going to be susceptible to other illnesses that go around. You also could very well make yourself very sick. So, those days that they take off, that's affecting you. That's affecting your workplace. That's affecting productivity, which guess what? Overall, that affects your bottom line as the company. So having that overall feeling of happiness and well-being means your people are going to be more productive. They're going to be more profitable. They're going to help you out in a lot more ways than they're going to hurt you. And then that loyalty piece is huge. Having a culture and creating that work-life balance in your company means that your employees are going to be way more loyal to you than they are anything else, because guess what? You're providing them the best place to work. You're providing them that good work-life balance, which means they're going to be loyal to you for as long as you create that balance. Companies with a great work-life balance and culture are all the rage. Everyone wants to work for companies that create that work-life balance, that create that good culture. They're going to be the ones that are highly sought after too, which means you don't want to lose, an employee like that. So keep going with the work-life balance so that you keep those people that very well could be sought after by somebody else, because, man, they seem like they're happy all the time. And they seem like they're always excited and they're always engaged and they're always, into their company and they're preaching their company. Keep them that way. And the overall healthiness, man, they're going to be so much healthier. They're going to be so much happier. That exudes into everything else. It's going to show when they're outside of work. It's going to show when they're inside of work, and it's going to show when they're talking to your customer base. So keep that in mind. Happier and overall healthier employees means less turnover. Employee turnover is so ridiculously expensive. All of you that are listening that are business owners, I know you can relate to this. Studies have predicted that every time a salaried employee is replaced, it costs 6 to 9 months of salary on average. So if the position salary is $40,000, that's $20,000 to $30,000 in recruiting, training, and lost productivity. It can be so expensive. On the flip side, an hourly employee, you got a $10 hourly employee, which we all know federally is $10.20. You've got an employee that's $10. They cost you $3,328 to replace. So think about that. This is costing you as the client money. That's huge. Referrals. If you have an awesome balance for your employees, so you've got it going on. You are the it when it comes to companies. Not only will you retain top employees, but those employees may have some top candidates that they can refer your way. And that's just an easy in. That will save you in recruiting. That will save you the headache of interviewing and is it really a good fit? And is it not? Hey, if you've got somebody on the inside saying, this company is it, this is where you want to be, you're going to have people that are going to start seeking you instead of you having to go out and seek them. And then reputation. This is so huge. And all of us know this. Our reputation is on the line every single day. Things happen. Everybody makes mistakes. Growing pains can happen. But your reputation is everything. So, people like the people that care about their employees. So, be that employer. Times they are a changing. I love my Candace. She just makes these so much fun. How about those millennials and Gen Xers? They consider work-life balance high up on their list of priorities. So this is that age gap that's coming into the workforce, that's, working their way up, and they have a list that's much different than it used to be. They have a list of things that they're looking for differently than things were 10, 20 years ago. They make up to 25% of the workforce now, and they're the prime working age. So let's be honest, we have to pay attention to these because we have to be able to fit in this box of what is it that they're looking for, and what is it that they want, so that you can be a little bit ahead of that curve. And again, to continue recruiting this top talent, you have to make your work-life balance a priority. So it all goes back to just making this a bigger priority. And then, look at who you're targeting too for employment. You may need to look at the next wave in workforce. It eventually is going to bump up. There's going to be more baby boomers retiring. So you've really got to take a look at this stuff starting out now. And this chart here, it's informative, but keep in mind it's 3 years out of date. So those are now 18 and 38. Thanks, Candace. And then some steps for promoting a healthy work-life balance. I think everybody, you can Google this stuff. You can figure it out, but here's just kind of a little cheat sheet. And anybody who wants this info for the slides of our show, we'll be able to get this posted out with our webinar on our website as well too. But ask employees what they need. This is the easiest way to learn how and what you can change, and it's straight from their mouths. So they are telling you, you are asking. Ask it too as if, hey, look, no promises, right? We can't all make these promises. I can't say that everything my staff says I'm going to be able to implement or do. However, I can definitely say, look, I want to create a good work-life balance. I want to make you guys happy. How can I do that? What are some things that you guys would really find as a great benefit? Because guess what? They're the ones that are going to see the benefits in what you're doing, right? So why not ask them? And then creating that happy workplace and culture. An improved workplace environment will make employees want to come to work. We all want to wake up in the morning and say, I love my job, I'm going to work. And it happens. You have days where you're like, I could just stay in bed all day and not go to work. But we want to create that workplace and environment where they say, hey, I want to get up in the morning and come to work. I love my job. Even in the stressful times, I love my job. Educate your employees about balance. Help them help themselves. Teach them about why it's so important not to get burnt out. Teach them the benefits of why it is so great to keep yourself from feeling the chronic stress, because look at all these health conditions that you can get from being stressed all the time. So teach them, help educate them about what they need to do to help themselves. Allow flexibility. I get it. I'm not sitting here telling you to revamp your whole thing. Maybe you can't have as much flexibility as you want, but even little bits of flexibility are the best ways to create happiness. So see what fits for you. Again, this is not a one size fits all for flexibility. I get it. We try things here at Journey that we try to be really flexible on, and some things we just really can't bend on. There's reasons, there's security reasons we can't bend on certain flexibilities here. But I think on the flip side, we do create a lot of flexibility that is seen as a really big positive for our clients, or our employees, because we're giving flexibility where we can and helping them understand why certain things there is not a lot of flexibility. And then lead by example. You are what you teach to your employees. If you want to not live in a burnout state, don't show them that that's okay. Don't live in a burnout state. Don't be the burnout. Don't be the chronic stress. Be the happy. Be the reason that your employees want to be like you, in the fact that you're always happy and you're always healthy and you seem to really have this figured out. We don't all have it figured out. I get that. But be the example that you want to start teaching and promoting in your workplace. And so again, let's go back to asking the employees what they need. So ask them questions. Hey, what do you feel is necessary? Sometimes you could be wondering, are they going to give me an answer that I want to hear? And are they going to give me that honest feedback? And so one of the best ways that you can ask for feedback in a way that they're going to give it to you and give it to you straight and honest and and not feel like they have to sugarcoat it, SurveyMonkey it. That seems to be the way that we, work through a lot of our things, in life, right? If I know I'm going to give you some advice, but you don't know who I am, hey, I'm going to give you real, raw, honest advice. And we'd all like to think that everybody's going to be honest all the time, but there is that factor of, man, I don't want to hurt their feelings, or I don't want to say something that, they're going to judge me on later. So being able to give out options that are a good way to get that stuff back without having names tied to it is huge. And we do have a feature like this. So we have in our employee engagement, for those of you who are familiar with it, we do have a way where you can send out some information. You can ask a question. Hey, what do you guys like or not like about working for this company? And I can get some real honest feedback from my employees, and it can be done anonymously, which means all I'm doing is pulling the information. I don't need to know who it came from. Now, however, on the flip side to that, if I get some information and I want to know who it came from because I'd like to have a deeper conversation about it and maybe understand it a little differently, then I can ask, do you feel comfortable releasing who you are, so that we can dive into this a little bit more. So it is on the employee side to control that a little, which they may really like. So talk to us about our employee engagement if you don't know what that is. Candace did list out some of the great features of employee engagement. I'm not going to hit them all right now for the sake of time here, but if you're interested, reach out to me. I'm happy to get you some information on it. And for those of you who don't attend these webinars regularly, there is a section in the back. It'll have my info, I believe. And now that I've said that, I'm not actually quite sure, so I will make sure you have that information. And then valuing employee input and continually requesting it sends a message to the employees that you truly care. You want to make sure they're happy. You care about them being happy, even if you don't take every suggestion. So again, you can't make everything happen. And hopefully they'll understand that. Make sure they understand it. I talk to my staff all the time. Look, I'm taking suggestions. I can't make everything happen, but I want to know what is it that you guys want. Happy environments and culture. So what makes employees want to go to work? $1 million question, right? If we all had the answer, we'd never have to talk about this kind of stuff. But one of the most important things for employees is a happy and positive environment. If I could have a show of hands, I would probably guess the whole room would have their hands shown. If I were to ask you, do you want to have a positive environment every day in your workplace? Yes, right? Nobody wants a negative environment. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, hey, I'm going to go to my really negative workplace because I like it. People say, I want to go to my really positive and fun, happy environment because I love it. So start with defining your culture. Anybody who came to our event this last year in December, you heard Mark Weaver talk a little bit about defining your culture, defining your company, define who you are, what makes you you, what are your values, what is something that you consider a norm for you guys. I can't tell you how important that has been for Journey overall in making sure that we create something here at Journey that not only are we creating, but we're also promoting. So this is such a huge thing. And he's going to be a guest speaker on a webinar that we have for culture. So he'll go over this a lot more. But start with things like your values, your leadership, overall message. What is it that you guys want to convey as an overall message to your customers? Break it down. What do you want your customers' message to be? What do you want that message to be that they see? What do you want the public to see? And what do you want the employees to see? And how are they different? Because they're going to be different, right? Overall, they're going to be about the same, but they're going to have their differences. And then from there, follow with what you want your environment to feel like, because that's how it's going to be. Some things that you can include, positive recognition. So recognition boards and notes, humor and positivity boards, gratitude notebooks, boards. We've given our staff a lot of tools here at Journey to make sure that we're giving them ways to show that. We have spent countless meetings and hours going through, things like start, stop, and continue. What are things that I want to start doing? What are things I want to stop doing? And what are some things I want to continue? And let's put them up there for everybody to see. And it's something I can walk by every day and say, that's a great reminder. I said I was going to stop feeling like I'm burnt out. I'm going to start keeping myself healthier. I'm going to continue being a positive role model for everybody at my workplace. So that's just kind of one of the examples of some things that we've started. But I mean, these humor boards, Candace in our office started a humor board that basically anything you think is funny, put it up there, because I guarantee you everybody else is going to think it's pretty funny too. And who wouldn't appreciate having, if you're having a rough day or you just got off a rough phone call, go in there and give yourself a little laugh. It helps. Have fun team pools. Get yourself your staff together. If it's sports, we have done things like the March Madness. Everybody sets up a March Madness pool. NFL, we do pick'ems for NFL. I know nothing about basketball. I don't even know who certain teams are. So when I pick my brackets, I just go through and pick, oh, you have a cool name. I like your mascot. Your colors are pretty cool together. That's how I do it. And honestly, it is so fun. Because there are times I make it so far in things and I'm like, holy cow, who would have thought guessing me would make it that far. But there's also things that I fall in my face and I'm like, well, that didn't work out. My bracket was busted in the first round. That's okay too, because it was fun. It's a fun thing to do, and my whole staff did it together. And it's a bonding thing for all of us. And we have a trophy, and it's just one of those things that has nothing to do with payroll, right? Basketball has nothing to do with payroll. Sports have nothing to do with payroll. But we've made it fun. We've made something fun for all of us internally that we can laugh at in the midst of doing everything else that we're doing internally. And then surprises. What fun. It is so fun. Sometimes I'll walk in with donuts for the staff just to be like, hey, I thought everybody could use a donut today. Hey, who wants coffee? Hey, who wants to go get some ice cream or a popsicle? Just fun things that they don't expect that brings out a bunch of more positive reaction in people. And then fulfillment. Employees want to feel fulfilled at their workplace. They want to feel like they're making a difference. And if they don't, it's not going to be good for your company. But if they do feel like they're making a difference and they want to give back and they want to participate in things, it's amazing how much that can bring everybody's morale up. We love donations. Donation drives. We'll tell the staff, hey, bring in any left, if you have jackets that don't fit your kiddos anymore, if you have shoes that don't fit, hey, let's put it all together and let's donate it somewhere. Letters to soldiers. That is the easiest, most low cost, fantastic way to give back. And I'm not kidding when I say write letters to soldiers. It can be we're thinking about you here. You guys are doing a great job. It's amazing how something like that can go so far with them. So it's really important that you do stuff like that can give back, because it makes you feel like you've made a difference. And access to snacks, man, we're a big proponent of this. We have, if you've ever been here, a lot of you on this webinar, I know you've been to our office before. We have a kitchenette. I shouldn't even call it a kitchen. We have a kitchenette. And in our kitchenette, we have a huge array, an assortment of snacks. We have healthy snacks. We have the cheating snacks that maybe aren't so healthy, but man, they're good when you need a cheat day. We have a fridge that we try to stock full of fruits in the good seasons that fruit's really yummy. We try to keep our staff. The last thing I want is my staff to say, hey, I'm hungry. I didn't have time to get breakfast, or man, I forgot my lunch today, and it's that midday. I'm hungry, but I don't know what to eat. Give them some snacks, because guess what? Tired brains need fuel. So it's important to leverage stuff like that. And I'm telling you, in the overall end of the day, the grand scheme of what I spend on snacks for my staff is a drop in the bucket compared to what a tired brain could do to my staff as well. So. And then add fun decor, items that'll de-stress the space. Plants, studies have shown that plants can greatly improve the feel of an office. So, bringing life into something that might feel lifeless goes a long way. And then back to that, educating employees. Teach employees how to create a nice work-life balance. They can't do this on their own. They need our help. They need the help of their peers and their mentors to help them to create this. They're not going to do it overnight either. Help give them the tools. Help promote this so that they know how to do it. You can go all in and have a meeting or seminar detailing the work-life balance, or you can keep it simple and low cost. It doesn't cost you money to have a work-life balance discussion with your staff. I promise you, it really doesn't. You can, get really great tools from the internet on how to create that, and have a quick little meeting and show them what it's like and show them what needs to happen in order for them to feel that, and show them the negatives. Show them what will happen if they don't have that. This process can be as simple as emailing articles. You can find steps you found online, but you can post them in a break room. Encourage them to do the same if they find something of value. Everybody is different, and that's what makes this so great, is what I think might be a really good work-life balance and what somebody else in my office might think could be different. But hey, why not let them, throw it up there on the break room board as well, and let them share what they have found to be, a good work-life balance. And so that's where that interaction is so key in learning and sharing this with your staff. And that flexibility piece, again, I know that this is going to be different. So please know and do not take this as you have to do this in order for work-life balance to happen. Flexibility is it's different for everybody. Our flexibility is going to be much different than flexibility of a heating and air conditioning company that, man, they maybe not have the flexibility that we have. So flexible work hours, see what that means to you guys. See what the hours of operation are, and how can we divvy that up so that, maybe it's not the traditional 8 to 5. Maybe somebody works 6 to 2 and somebody works 3 to 7. And so, figuring that out. Work from home. Studies have shown people are way more productive when they can work from home, if need be. I get this too. This is not an option for everybody. I will say internally, this is not an option for half of our staff because of the sensitive nature of the material they're working on. It needs to be done here in Journey's office. However, I do have staff members that can work from home. And actually, when they do work from home, they get a lot more done because they don't have the interruptions. They don't have people pulling them in different directions, and they're able to just kind of get in there and knock things out. Me personally, I have to say there are times where if I have 8 hours of work to do and I do it at home, I can knock it out in 4 or 5. Why? Because I don't have the interruptions. I'm able to focus on what I'm doing, get it done, and move on to the next thing. Again, that's how we roll here at Journey. We're different, though, than everybody else, so please don't take this as something you need to do in order to be in balance. Unlimited PTO sounds expensive, doesn't it? Because it's not earned or accrued, it's actually not as expensive to the employer. Knowing PTO isn't paid out encourages employees to use the PTO. I see this with all of our clients. I have clients that come to me and say, hey, we're onboarding, here's our PTO. Oh, by the way, we let employees cash out some of their PTO. That's awesome. If that works for you and that's a good selling tool for you, that is so cool. I do think that's a really great benefit. But what if you don't want them to cash out that PTO during the year? What happens when they leave and they've got 60 hours of PTO accrued? Then what? That's a lot of money out of your pocket as the employer. So really giving this unlimited PTO a shot is awesome. We do it here, and let me tell you something about it. I actually have to go to my staff sometimes and give them kind of a little breakdown of what they've used in order for them to see, oh gosh, I really haven't used it, because they're being mindful. They're mindful of not only what it does when they're gone, because right, we have to have a backup and somebody has to do our job while we're out. So it's not like they're just saying, I'm not going to go to work today, and I'm not going to, I'm going to take the next week off, and actually maybe I'll take 3 weeks off. Well, that's not going to be that, that's not doing your backup any good. That's not helping them out. So having employees that respect their coworkers enough to say, I know that when I'm gone, it really affects my backup. So, hey, that's not a great time for me to take off, but this day is because I don't really have a heavy schedule that day. And so I'm going to get all my stuff done and shoot out a little earlier or take that day off. And it really does help them to be more accountable for themselves, but to respect the people that are doing their job when they're not there. And then consider some flex time too. We do rotating flex weeks here at Journey. We've done a lot of research on this. Why it's something we've decided to do is because some of our staff, we were finding, halfway through the week, they're like, hey, I don't really have a lot going on. And maybe this would be a good time for me to leave. Nobody wants to pay an employee to sit at their desk and do nothing. So give them some flexibility. Have them be a little more responsible for their time. Have them take ownership of their time they're working, because I can tell you right now, when my staff works a 4-day work week, they are more productive in that 4 days, knowing that they have a flex week and they have a Friday off or a Monday off or a Wednesday off. The rest of their week worked is a lot more flexible, or a lot more productive because of the flexibility behind it. So do look into that. The flexible or unlimited PTO. You can even call it flexible PTO. And make it a little bit more flexible, or consider flex time as well. Again, we do the unlimited PTO and flex days just because that's what's worked for us. But again, I don't have staff taking advantage of it, knock on wood. And I won't hire staff that will take advantage of it. I won't allow that in our culture because that's not who we are. And if you do have questions on this, I would be happy to go over this more with you in detail, because we have done it for 7 of the 9 years we've been around now. And this is most certainly a very valued tool here. Again, lead by example. I can't talk enough about leading by example. You are what your employees do, right? If I set the precedence that I can show up in my pajamas every day, yeah, my staff's going to start doing that, and that's not professional. So if employees see you prioritizing personal and family time, they're not going to feel guilty about doing it themselves. If they see you making it a priority to take care of your mental health, they're going to see it as a priority as well, and they're probably going to start following in your footsteps. So it's human nature to follow the leader, right? We all do it. So if they see you working until 7, they're going to feel the stress and feel like they need to work till 7. But why? Why do they need to work till 7? It shows them that it really is a valuable part of your business, and that you're not just saying, hey, we have work-life balance. They're saying, hey, we are work-life balance. We promote that, we live it, we breathe it, and we want you to as well. Most importantly, your work-life balance is just as important for your own mental health and your stress levels as it is for everyone else's. So keep that in mind. I think we get so used to, hey, I want my employees to be happy, but what about us? We also have to be happy, right? Because if we're not happy, our employees are going to see that. So, really try to create that for yourself. And maybe that's what it takes first is really creating that for yourself, and then, releasing it to your employees so that they can see you being a leader in that. And remember, just because you're the boss doesn't mean you need to sacrifice your own well-being. I am really working on this myself. Because oftentimes I will try to take everything, something off of everybody else's plate, because I want them to be able to, have the well-being, but I'll take the brunt of it. That's not fair either. So, really keep that in mind when you're doing this kind of stuff. And as a leader, you can't properly lead if you are perpetually exhausted, stressed, or feeling down. And I guarantee you, all of you have felt this way at one point or another. You cannot lead if you're like that. And if you do lead if you're like that, that's what you're leading and showing your staff is okay. And that's not okay. A couple key takeaways from this, hopefully, and this about wraps it up. So time-wise, I want to make sure you all know we're about done here. But multiple studies have shown a work-life balance is important for productivity, employee retention, loyalty, and your bottom line. Work-life balance is becoming increasingly important, so it's best to start working on yours now and stay ahead of the competition. We don't want those people picked off, do we? So start now. It's never too late to start. But because this is becoming such a big thing, now would be the time to get yours in line. Google is awesome. I love Google. There are so many times that I will have a question or wonder something, and I go straight to my little Google machine, and it tells me what I need to know and then some. So Google is super important in finding some of these steps and methods. What works for one is not always going to work for another. So look it up. Put some time into researching what you need to know for this. Remember, it'll help you find and retain top talent. Employee turnover is expensive. Expensive could not be any more bold than this. Losing staff and replacing and training and what goes into that, none of us can put a price tag on that. That can be detrimental. And guess what? It's really good for you. And we want that to be good for you, right? We want that to be good for each of us. So here we go. Look at Candace. She is way ahead of me. I have to give her a huge shout out because she works so hard on all of these wonderful webinars with me, really for me. And so big shout out to her. Look at that. She puts my contact info up there. Please screenshot this, take a picture, write it down. Any questions that you have on this, hey, I'm serious when I say, ask me what we've done here. Ask me why it's worked, how it's worked, what hasn't worked. What were some of our stumbling blocks? I would be more than happy to grab a cup of coffee with anybody and kind of go over, why and how we've created what we've created here at Journey, to give you some tips on creating something for yourself as well. But also, if you have any questions on our employee engagement and how to use this tool within our system, please reach out. I'd be happy to do a little demo of that and get that started for you so you can be well on your way to a wonderful and happy work-life balance. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful weekend. The weather's beautiful. The sun is shining. Hopefully you guys can take advantage of that. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you guys soon.